So while all of the designs are my own, the bases are by Selena Ixie on DeviantArt. I will have her account linked below. These children were destined for doom. Hi girlies! Is this the most capital light thing I could ever do? Other than actually send children to their demise? Yeah, probably. Are there more interesting Hunger Games analyses that I could do, like how the emphasis on gender is so like dystopian and that adds to the dystopian vibe of the whole thing, or just the signs of fascism and like how the capital gained control? You know, something actually worthwhile. Yes, I could do all of that, but the world's dystopian enough. Let me talk about fashion. Now with that out of the way, here's a little mini rant. Why were those Chariot outfits so bad? Briefly, this is not about the stylists for the movies, like the people who were behind the costumes for those movies. Absolutely immaculate team. The storytelling in every single one of those outfits, amazing. District 12 feels so lived in, the capital feels lived in, all of these places feel so real, and that is in part due to the impeccable work of the costuming team. The one letdown is, girly, we're already sending those kids to their demise. Like, can they at least go out not looking like that? The world is really dark right now, let me have this. Anyhow, I'm only going to do like the 5 worst contenders, I feel like. Not all of them are that bad. I mean, for one thing, obviously District 12 did really well fashion-wise that year. And like, there's some of them that are kind of ugly, but they're like serviceable. They sort of get across what the district is about. While there are others that are also kind of ugly, there are plenty that are like fine. So the ones that I'm going with are 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Though again, some of these are egregious, so I'm happy to do a part 2. Okay, so my concept for all of these is essentially like, what if each district had Cinna, or at least had someone who gave as much of a heck as Cinna? Or also like maybe, I was thinking about how Joanna kind of wanted to be the Mockingjay and she wished she could have been, and the only reason she couldn't is because no one liked her. But like, one of the reasons that like no one remembered her was like, she complained about how the District 7 tributes have been trees for 40 years and they're not that memorable costume-wise. So yeah, I'm sort of trying to create like 5 new Mockingjays almost. I'm trying to give them a little bit of drama. Starting with District 3, Lord have mercy, these children were destined for doom. Like, the headpieces alone, horrific, awful. I kind of wanted to keep a little bit of the vibe, but I was inspired by kind of a very specific version of technology. I was inspired by electricity. They're not the ones who supply whatever. I just thought it would look cool. As the vibe for this is like the silver lightning bolt to kind of indicate the technological aspect. I also wanted it to be like holographic and reflective. And that could be their like catching fire gimmick, right? It would reflect and it would like sparkle and beam out, and they would like look like the kids who were struck by lightning or something. That could be their thing, like the girl on fire would be the ones who were struck by lightning. That makes it sound like they were already doomed before they even got into the arena, but we can work with something. And yeah, so I contrasted that with like a dark navy, like bodysuit type situation, so that it would have that vibe of lightning in a storm. District 5 are the ones who like actually provide power in terms of electricity, but apparently it's hydro based. Apparently they have like a big dam or whatever. I found that out on the wiki page. I mean, don't take me 100% accurately. I don't remember all of it off the top of my head. I don't remember if that's actually specifically mentioned. But if they're the ones who have like hydropower, I thought like the mermaid kind of vibe would work for them as well, and not just District 4. I would be liking my District 4 Chariot ride makeup, by the way. I also chose to give Foxface little buns because I thought they would look like fox ears like she has in the movie. We might as well lend a little bit of credence to this nickname. I'm not really sure what their gimmick would be in terms of being like on fire, or like what their equivalent would be. My main thought was that I really just wanted to give them a little bit of love because, oh god, I kind of wanted to like reference the weird headpieces that they have by turning it into like a big collar on the male tribute. And there was something about like the big rough collar that kind of worked from a capital light perspective, I thought. I don't think the designers actually knew what each of the district's industries were when they were going into this in the first place. So that's why some of the designs are slightly outlandish and weird, and they don't really reflect necessarily what the industry is. And on that level, I think they're really cool. But like now that in hindsight we do know what each of their industries are, a lot of them don't really reflect it. And I think District 6 is one of the worst contenders. How does this look like transportation? Are we transporting to the moon? I feel like the capital doesn't want to do that. Never mind to give the districts the power to do. I don't think we're building rockets in Pan Am. So design-wise for this one, I was kind of inspired by Starlight Express because like transportation, so train tracks and trains, that kind of makes sense. So I like the idea of each of them having like a chest piece that sort of resembles like the front of a train, so like a train light, and specifically like a more old-fashioned style of train. Because like even though Pan Am is set in the future, it's got like a very like old century feel because it's representing the rise of power. It's representing like a pre-war era. And then like the main structure of the outfits is kind of inspired by Tekna from Wings Club. You can sort of see that. I can figure out how to draw Tekna's heels on. I'm always inspired by Tekna from Wings Club. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, something sort of between a train and train tracks, and also like looking kind of technical. I thought that would look cool. I'm saving District 7 for last because it kind of became my favorite. But District 8, I think their gimmick could be flowers. I think they supply corn and like wheat. So I was thinking about cornflowers, and like that nice blue really contrasts with the sort of weedy tones. And I feel like in the parade, in the carriage rides, they could like toss flower petal confetti, and that would be like a really cute thing, and that would be something that makes them a little bit more memorable, it makes them stand out a little bit more. There could be themes about like nature, and like I don't know what they would be called either. I don't really think like the girl in petals really has the same ring to it. For the girl, I kind of went for like a Princess Leia thing. I just thought it would really suit to have like flowers woven into that. And finally coming back to District 7, this is where I really went all out on the fire theme. Like I talked about, Joanna had mentioned like her jealousy of Katniss. She kind of wanted to be like the face of the revolution. She was also pretty. She was also overlooked and then proved herself as a combatant. So I think that like that story would really work for a Mockingjay or a Mockingjay equivalent. And the thing with them having been trees for 40 years is there's actually a lot you can do with that. So I wanted to include like autumnal leaf imagery because then you evoke the same image of fire, right? With the reds and the oranges and the yellows. In my initial sketch, I actually had them look a little bit more like leaves, but when I was transitioning it to literal MS Paint, because I'm not an artist, I got a little lazy and just did a fiery gradient, but you get the idea. It would imitate leaves, it would also imitate fire. So even though they're the trees, they could still have that on fire imagery, which I think would really stand out. The contrasting purple was done for two reasons. One of them is just because I like how purple looks with that color scheme. Simple as, it's just for artistic purposes. And second, the gold and purple are both considered royal colors. Purple was especially considered a color of royalty in like various points throughout history. So if we're having like the purple and gold as well, along with the fire imagery, like that is going to scare Snow. That makes them the perfect symbols to scare him. That makes them the perfect symbols to threaten his power, his royal status. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, there are a couple of other Chariot outfits that I just don't think are it. So I'd definitely be able to do a part 2 to this if anyone's interested. And frankly, if anyone's not interested, I might do it anyway because I like really enjoy doing costume designs and doing character redesigns and stuff. But at the very least, that's it for now. Bye girlies, and may the odds be ever in your favour. The odds are not in my favour right now. Do you know how I know that? Because I'm meeting a friend later, and that means I'm gonna have to wipe all of this blue off of my face. I didn't think things out. Pray for me. Bye.